Sadly, the Guardians, I don't believe they can drop every single full bottle that exists. If you've seen build, you know there's a lot of them. And getting them in this game or this mod is a little bit of a pain, but it's mostly just random. Like, you have to go out of your way to try to get all of them. I remember one time... I remember one time while I was playing, I kind of accidentally got a bunch of them. Just by using this. And then when it came time to like be like, okay, I need this one specific one, I didn't have it. Right, where are my vis stamps? There we go. So I'll show you what I mean here. If we take the blank vis stamps out, do I have any more? Right? No? Okay, great. You right click this, and you get a vis stamp. So we got unlucky a bit. So we got the Trichera vis stamp, which doesn't do anything. It appears in a web series, but it doesn't say it's used to make any forms, so we'll put it off to a side. Neobata, I know, can be used by Revice, so we'll put it up there. Revice, and same with the Megalodon stamp. But we didn't get Rex. We need another Rex. Is it still thunderstorming? Can I like sleep? No. Okay. Unfortunately, we didn't get another Rex, which, again, we do need. So maybe next one won't be Revice. We'll focus on O's for a little bit. Main reason for that being, I don't like not doing things in videos. Like, I set out in this one to gain the vis stamp bar and the Revice one, but that's all, again, it's all random. If you go to the vis stamp bar, actually, in your thing, Rewa, Revice, vis stamp, here we go. Vis stamp bar. Yeah, it's only an 8% chance we get the Rex one, which we do need. We need to hit that chance, unfortunately. The benefit of it is that, unlike in other games or mods, there's like a chance you get something useless. I kind of wish this mod had something like that. So the Trichera vis stamp, while we know it exists, we have no idea what it does, and it doesn't do anything in the mod, right? They've pre-added it, so it's there, but it doesn't have a function. So I kind of wish it couldn't be spun on the bar, unless they were going to give Revice a custom form that they can use with it, or like Aguilera or Jean, like a custom thing to do with it, or Jeanne. Either way, I feel like it shouldn't be able to be spun unless it has a use yet, because it's kind of like, I don't understand it if it had something to do, but it doesn't. You can't do anything with it. And also because it's daytime, there's no mob spawning. I thought maybe the rain would counteract that. Right, what I'm probably going to end up doing is turning into Houdini and flying around, because I want to find something. I want to find structures. Basically, I want to kind of start mapping out different areas. I know for some riders, like Blade and Hibiki are going to be way easier to get. Now, if you know the order of Kamen Rider like release dates, you'll know there's Kuga, but I'm kind of skipping from Kuga straight to like Ryuki. I'm like, where's Agito, or where's Faiz, or Den-O? And that's because I can't currently obtain some of those riders. So Hibiki I can get right now. I can get Ryuki. It's just like those ores down there. Sadly, they don't have much to do in this mod with Ryuki. He's got some cool things, but nothing like insane. So he might only have like a video or two dedicated to him. But with characters like Hibiki, it gets a little different because he has a few more things than Ryuki does. But then, like, why can't I get Agito? Well, that's because Agito, similarly to O's, where I need to find the structure to start his medal grind, you can't do anything with, what's his name? You can't get Agito unless you find a structure for it. You can't get Faiz and Kabuto unless you go to the Nether, so at some point I'm going to need to go to the Nether. You can't get Build unless you farm a bunch of the Guardians to get his empty full balls, which I think we should have enough to make at least one of his pieces of armor. I'm just moving this off to the side because I'm sick of opening it. Yeah, we have 24, so we can make his helmet. We can make his leggings, and we can make his chestplate. So now all we're missing is the build driver, and the build driver is a bit of a pain, but not insanely difficult. The reason I've held off on getting it is because you need rabbits and tank, and at the minute I only have one tank and one rabbit, so I want a few more before I craft it. And you'll see why, because build is weird. Like, technically I could craft it now if I had enough bottles for it. You need rabbit, tank, and then I'm missing 3. So if we can find somewhere to scrap, we can make it. Basically, Kabuto Mushi, Kirin, Magnet, and Gorilla can all be used in build. However, I don't want to overwrite the tank half because I wouldn't be able to get the tank half back. If I became build and then used something that went over the tank side of build, which, to explain, build has rabbit, tank, which makes up 1/2, kind of like double. But one side is organic, so Kirin, which is giraffe, and Kabutomushi, which is like a rhinoceros beetle, that would take over the rabbit half, which is not a big deal. I can get that half back. If I were to use, I think, Magnet, it would go over the tank half, and I wouldn't be able to use rabbit tank again. And rabbit tank's like his default form. I need that for like everything else. So yeah, basically, I've not got a whole lot of his stuff, unfortunately. But there is one more thing I want to do before I start working on O's, because looking at my inventory, yeah, O's is like the closest. Right, so there is a device called a cell metal, not Amazon cell metal programmer. We need cell alloys, which are made by smelting down cell metals. So we're going to grab a stack of we're going to grab this 29 bits of cell metals, take about half of them and put them in there. While that smelts, the cell metal programmer needs a monitor, which, again, not that hard to come by. I think we stole one in like episode 1. So those should just be in my backpack somewhere. Which one is the question? This one? No? Yeah, no, they're both in there. Right, we need a monitor. If you don't know how to craft a monitor, basically, rider circuit, redstone, and redstone. Monitors can be found pretty much everywhere, though, like in any structure pretty much has a monitor. So, while you can craft it, it's not, like, necessary. We take this, surround it in this alloy, and bang, we have a cell metal programmer, which I'll stick right there. Now, cell metal programmer. This is mainly used for his secondary rider, Birth. But you can get it to give you O's medals if I use packed ice. So that's why I've crafted that, because while the O's medals aren't necessary, they're kind of nice. This I'm also going to need, but this will be its own separate video. Right, now that we have that sorted out, I guess we'll take a break from Ghost. He's served me well. Boom, boom, boop, boop. And then we'll move all of Ghost into here. Because I don't have the Rex of this stamp, I don't want to really turn into Revice. What's my progress on Gabu? 14 blank Gotchizo and 5 popping gummies. To craft Gabu's armor and his driver, or his transformation device, it's just as simple as using the Gotchizo as you would any other rider material. And there's his driver, and we can make his helmet too, but I won't go over that. To make a blank Gotchizo, because you can craft these, is a rider circuit and a candy wrapper. So if we have candy wrappers, which we have 24 of, and we take 64 rider circuits, bang, bang, Gotchizo. And yeah, with these, I mean, we can probably craft the rest of his armor. Yeah. His helmet, his leggings, and his chest plate. Cool, we can now use Gabu. Look at that. We're making a bunch of progress. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, I'm gonna go over O's first. Because O's, at least in my opinion, I just know who he is. You know, so it's kind of like, you know, it's not that I know who Gabu is, I've just not finished the Gabu. I'm on episode 24 of it. I'm about halfway. So I've seen one of his form, like major power-ups. I've not seen anything else. I've not seen his final form yet. Right. Give me the O's backpack. Not this one, this one. Just put it there. Right. O's. And then we need his driver. Taka, Tora, Bata. Okay. I guess now I can go and show off an O's transformation. But before I do that, there is one item that you need when becoming O's. That's kind of vital. He has a scanner, which is crafted with cell metals and an ender pearl. I should have an ender pearl lying around somewhere. If not, I'll just go quickly use any rider, really, to kill an enderman. Unfortunately, it seems I don't have an ender pearl just lying around. So we'll put all this stuff back. Taka, Tora, Bata. Let's think. Okay, I need to go kill an enderman. So I'm gonna quickly return to using Ghost. So one final send off. He's gonna get us what we need in order to become O's. So I'm gonna go see if I can find an enderman. I don't know if I will be able to because it's the middle of the day. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Let's try enderman down here. And we got an ender pearl. Perfect. I thought I was going to have to jump cut to when I got one. So in the show, and you'll probably see it when I do the transformation sequence in a bit as well. In the show, to transform, Oz needs to scan in his medals. And when doing so, he just runs the scanner along the medals that he's put into his belt. So for our purposes in this mod, it's not necessary to use it to transform. However, the O's scanner, and it'll probably look a bit shaky. Yeah, see, it's very jumbled, very hard to read. Basically, ignore it. This is what it does. Can be right-clicked using one of O's combos to trigger a special ability, and gives you an additional status effect when using his main combos. So, for example, Tajadol, or Gatakiriba, it creates a clone of you when you right click it. You'll see that probably whenever we get on to O's proper. But until then, we'll just start with his base form. Henshin.